Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa podcast. We are back in European action. Europa Conference League away to AZ Alkmaar. Joined today by a absolute global TikTok superstar, Justin, who's gone viral. He's gone viral on TikTok with over 30,000 views of his fan cam appearance. Absolutely mad. And then I've just checked the YouTube one, which generally is not as high as that, and that's now above 5. So I don't know what it is with you and short form content, but absolutely love you.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? I think obviously it helps that we won the game, and it's such a great win, wasn't it, as well? But yeah, we're feeding into some good times at Villa, aren't we now? And the fan base is really starting to buzz, and I'm all over it, to be honest. It's what you want as a fan. It's what you dream of as a fan. After our horrific times we've had, it's lovely to be back on the up. And 1 year since Emery took over as well. What a year it's been, and the future. I just can't even. You know what? I can't even compute in my brain what potentially the future could hold for us. There is no limit. There's no ceiling, is there? I think with the setup, the manager, the players, the staff, the infrastructure, the stadium upgrades. So I'm just going to sit back and enjoy every goddamn second of this ride.
Yeah, it's been absolutely quality. But with that TikTok, you did say that Dougie Luiz is the best midfielder in the Premier League, and it
took a bit of stick for that.
They're absolutely rattled, aren't they? The football fans, they can't compute how good Douglas Luiz is. But if they want to sleep on Douglas Luiz, then let him carry on, because he'll go under that radar and keep doing what he's doing for Villa. So we've got Alkmaar. Europa Conference League, we're getting to a point now where it's starting to get quite serious in the grand scheme of the group. It was a massive, massive win for Aston Villa against Mostar at home. And for me, that kind of felt like the wake-up of Villa in Europe. And we now go into a double header against Alkmaar, where for me, we can't lose any of these games. We've got to really not lose. So, manage the group as you will, but I think don't lose either of them. I think we'll be absolutely fine. They're a really good side, Alkmaar. They haven't lost in the league. They are a very good footballing side. They play a real good brand of football. So I imagine it's going to be a very, very difficult game, but I think it's going to be a different game, to what we've experienced so far. I think Alkmaar are going to want to look to play a brand of football. They're going to want to impose their style. They're going to want to show what their styles may be capable of doing against the Premier League side. For me, that kind of opens it up a little bit for Villa to play our way, and there'll be space, there'll be opportunities. And I'm just really looking forward to the game. I think I'm just looking forward to every game that we play in Europe. We're playing really well at the minute. So, I mean, you can't not be excited about Villa playing a game of football. So how do you sort of see this game going? And then we'll get into AVFCSCOUT's, his scouting mission on Alkmaar.
Yeah, it's a difficult game, isn't it? I think outside of what you would class as the top 4 leagues in Europe, so the Premier League, the German Bundesliga, La Liga, and Serie A, you would probably say this is the next one down. So that they're verging on sort of elite level European teams, and they are a very good side within that league. So it's going to be a really difficult game. It's going to be a hostile place for us to go and play in, something that the players might not have really seen before. We're not having a massive following going out there either, so it is going to be very. They're going to be baying for us when we get into that stadium, and they're a very good side. As you've only got to look at the league table; they haven't lost this season. And we're getting to the point now, like you say, we're halfway. Well, yeah, this will be the halfway point of the groups, won't it? So 6 games we play. So after this game, we're halfway there. The loss in the first game was a bit of a blow. And then we had to probably get that win in that last game to get us on level terms. And the table's looking obviously very even. Everybody's on 3 points. With this double header coming up, like you say, I think we've got to take minimum 4 points from the 2 games to stay within touching distance of the qualification positions. If we can go there and get a win, then fantastic. We can come back and maybe even secure a top 2 position with a win at home as well. But I'm under no illusions that these games in Europe, as we've seen already, losing the first one 3-2 and then narrowly winning the second one 1-0 against teams that we wouldn't have known a lot about really before we even approach this European campaign, just shows that there's no mugs. They've got to these competitions because they're good sides within their own leagues. And yes, they're not household names, a lot of them, and a lot of the players that we're going to be talking about today, probably not many people have heard of, but it doesn't mean they're not good footballers. We're all averse to sort of knowing that the elite European players, everybody knows them, most are internationals, but there are some very good players here. So we've got our work cut out. We are a fantastic side. I'll back us against anybody, obviously, but we've got to be on our game on Thursday night.
Definitely. So let's get into it then, and then we'll break it down as we go then. So Alkmaar are sitting, well, they've actually got 25 points now, but you can see on the left-hand side their form is just very, very good. Their key players are the striker, Pavlidis, Sugawara, the right back, and David in the middle. Alkmaar's predicted lineup is a 4-2-3-1. They're interchanges, so we'll go into a little bit more detail in a second. Alkmaar, an experienced European side that have made a deep run in the Europa Conference League last season. They lost to West Ham. That's when they had a load of fan trouble inside the stadium as well. Despite the departure of some key players in the summer, AZ are unbeaten in the Eredivisie and unbeaten at home in all competitions so far this season. Pavlidis serves as an attacking focal point, 22 goals and 14 assists in all competitions last season, already into double figures this season. Their squad includes several young attacking options off the bench. So we will now have a little look at the what they do with the possession. So we've got a comparison here of Alkmaar and Aston Villa in their respective leagues. So possession-wise, they're averaging 55%. Villa are averaging 56.1%. And you can see on the right-hand side, this is touches per player. So you can see which players offer the most threat and where you can kind of gauge where the possession goes through. So you can see from possession from the back, it's pretty mixed. Sugawara offering that threat down that right-hand side as the right back. You've got Classy in the middle, who is a really classy player in their team. So he's got 70.6, touches per game in there. And then as it gets further forward, there's less touches. But, their shape, for me, comes from their defence as well. So we'll take a look at that in a second. AZ, like Villa, use a possession-based style and are used to having the lion's share of the ball. The average possession statistics reflect this similarity. The graph on the right is analysing the distribution of the touches amongst AZ players. Larger bar indicates the most touches. There's quite a balanced distribution amongst the team. The right back Sugawara stands out as the key player, consistently registering the most touches per game. Additionally, despite the striker Pavlidis actively participates in AZ's build-up play, averaging touches of 43 touches per game. So pretty similar, aren't they, Justin? Really, like that they want to play football, and this is what we were sort of touching on earlier, that they're a team that want the ball, they're a team that have got a really good style, so it does make for a very interesting game.
It does. It makes for a very interesting game. Like you say, look, they set up the same as us. They like to play the same as us. They're a confident side. They haven't lost at home all season. I mean, they haven't lost all season, so they've only drew one game out of the 9 league games. So they're not going to be sitting back. That's how I read into this. That they are going to be trying to come at us, which is going to be a bit different from the first two games of both those sides. Basically, they're sitting back and trying to pick us off and trying not to leave the back door open. Whereas these, I don't think they're going to be gung ho. I think they're just going to basically sit and try and play through us like we will with them. So, but the one key difference for me is, and I think it's going to be the key factor, is the manager. I think that he will know, as we've seen multiple times since he's arrived, he will have a plan of how to attack it. And if that doesn't go right in the first 20-25 minutes, then he'll go to plan B, then he'll go to plan C, and he'll keep adjusting it, he'll keep thinking. Looking at the players and the way they play, their right back is a huge threat. So Luca Dean, if he does play, he's going to have his work cut out, and whoever plays up that left-hand side with him, he's going to have to keep their eye on him because he likes to get forward and go at them. So many interesting. It's going to be a really, really interesting game to watch, isn't it? Because, like you say, two teams that are very well matched in style coming up against each other. I can't wait for it, to be honest. I think it's going to be a really, really good game.
It is going to be good. This is a great graphic as well from AVFCSCOUT. Again, AZ and Villa show statistically similarities in their passing game, with nearly identical numbers of passes attempted and completed per game. Subsequently, their pass completion percentage are also fairly closely aligned. Examining the launch metrics, so this is the goalkeeper percentage of goalkeepers' passes or goal kicks longer than 40 yards. Larger bars indicate more long balls. So their keeper does go for a couple more long balls than Aston Villa's in 48.4% and Villa at 39%. Short passes are at 22.2 for Villa and 30.7 for Alkmaar. AZ's goalkeeper demonstrates a preference for short passes, indicating build-up from the back more often than not. However, in comparison to Emi Martinez, Ryan does opt for long passes frequently as well. So here we have the XG. So analysing goals and shooting numbers shows more similarities between the two sides. Expected goals indicating the overall quality of chances are nearly identical, while AZ maintain a slight edge in terms of goals scored per game. Villa average almost 3 more shots per game. Both sides share the same average shots distance of 16.5 yards. This suggests that both teams are strategic, aiming for high quality of chances in the box rather than relying on shots, long-range efforts. So, very, very close. So, Justy, let's have a little chat about the striker, the main man, Pavlidis, who has scored over 10 goals so far this season. He's pretty lethal in this Eredivisie league. He is 24 years of age. AZ's number 9 is well-rounded striker, scored in 8 consecutive league games, capable of finding the net using both feet, headers, with most of his goals coming from inside the box. He's got good positioning and movement to get on the end of balls, able to create space to find himself and his teammates. 6.1. He combines physicality with a decent yard of pace. He can hold the ball up and also make runs in behind. He can take on defenders when needed. He's got a good ball control inside the box under pressure. Unselfish, capable of making key passes and assists. Provides through balls and layups for teammates. Good work rate defensively. Leads the line. Makes you sound worried reading that, don't it?
Has he got any faults? Yeah, I mean, he looks an outstanding player. If I'm brutally honest, I haven't seen him play. But looking at his statistics, I think he's just looking here. He scored in his last 6 games for them, including a hat-trick at the weekend in a home win, 3-0 home win against Heerenveen. So he's going to come into this absolutely confidence, or we all know what strikers are like. That goals breed confidence, and he's going to come into this game after a hat-trick, absolutely flying. And we've got to be wary of him. It's going to be interesting which way he goes at the back, because we have seen a rotation of the squad with sort of the bench players, Carlos and what's his name, the French lad, Langley, coming in. So whether he does stick maybe with one of the sort of Premier League class sort of centre halves, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. I'll tell you what he will do. What he'll do is he'll have absolutely analysed this striker to the end of the earth, and he will decide on which of the 4 centre halves that are currently fit. Which we said at the start of the season. This is what a squad's all about, isn't it? He's got 4 really good centre halves. You know, Carlos is very dominant in the air, very physical. Conser, he's good on the deck. So he'll look at all 4 of our centre halves and he'll think which is our best matchup against this striker. What are his positives, and what can we, the best way of us attacking him and trying to stop him from scoring. So the team selection, as always, is going to be very critical, and I think he might go a lot stronger in this game than he has done in the previous 2 because of the importance of the game, because of where we could be after this. If we can get the 3 points, it puts us in a really, really strong position then for the last 3 games of the group.
Yeah, I do err with the side that he's going to go very strong in this game.
Yeah.
Another threat, big threat for Alkmaar is Sugawara, the right back, an attacking-minded fullback with the licence to get forward. This season, he's been the most involved player in the league for Alkmaar. He has the highest number of touches. He plays with his head up and has good vision, technique to his game. While he's competent dribbler with the ball control, his primary strength lies in his passing abilities, making more of the passes than a dribbler. Looks to progress passes during build-up phases, lots of crosses into the box, and aerially he is weak. I remember the Legia Warsaw game, and we had problems with their left back and right back overloading each side. So we've really got to be careful of this guy. We've really got to stop him from playing. I imagine there is going to be a job done on Sugawara to contain him. So I think that's going to be really, really interesting. If we have a little look then briefly at what we can expect from their style of play on generally genetically how they want to attack, what we find is that Pavlidis plays up top. We've got David that comes in and helps support him. We've got this wide right player that stays right. The wide left player stays wide. The wide right player comes in and tucks inside, which allows Sugawara to bomb on. But then what they also do is heavily commit with their left back into a central area when attacking as well. So their build-up shape looks something similar to this. So like Villa, a fully functioning football team, this team are one as well and do things very, very well. So we've got to be wary of where they manipulate their shape to attack. So I think we're going to go strong, aren't we, Justin? I think we can't not go strong because of the importance of this game. Because if we can win this game, I think we will top this group, having won the rest of the games that are still going to be to come as well. So, what's your general vibe then? How are you feeling? How's the game actually going to pan out?
I think for the first time in Europe this season, we're going to see us be more. I think the team selection is going to be a lot stronger. I've said this now, and with an eye on, with the greatest of respect to Luton on Sunday, it's probably one of our. I don't want to say because I don't want to tempt fate, but you know what I mean. It's one of our easier home games, you'd like to think. So, with that in mind, if we'd have got a Man City or an Arsenal on Sunday, then it's very difficult to go very strong in this game because of playing last weekend, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday. If you go full strength in all 3, you are putting a lot of strain on our what you class as our first 11 players. But I think after a positive result on Sunday, the lads are going to be buzzing. I think we're going to see a very strong first 11 with a view to hopefully getting ahead, which we've seen the opposite so far. We've gone a bit weaker. We played a lot of our fringe players, and then when it hasn't gone well, which it hasn't in the first 2 games, we've had to throw on the sort of attackers and our main players to try and get results in games. I think we might see a bit of a difference in this one. We're going to go stronger to start with a view to trying to get ahead and get in a positive position in the game, and then maybe hopefully at some point we can get a few of the players off and rest them ready for a very important game against Luton nonetheless, but a game that you would like to think at home you know, we could probably play one or two of the fringe players against them and still get a positive result on Sunday. So because we are now this is the halfway point of the group stages, we've got to be very, very careful. If it doesn't go well on Thursday and we was to get beaten, that puts a hell of a lot of pressure on the last two games and means we've probably got to go full strength in the last two games to make sure we pick up maximum points to qualify, because it would be a massive shame having to get into this point if we don't get out of the group. So a real pivotal game on Thursday. I really think we're going to get a positive result. I think we're going to go very strong. I think, like we've highlighted here, and the stats are fantastic. Two really good sides that like to play football. It's going to be a real chess game, isn't it? Everybody sort of, you might even see for the first 20 minutes, half an hour, sort of a quite a slow build up on both sides. You know, it's not going to be, I don't see an explosive game with loads of goals. I see a real tactical game where we're going to try and pick out, you know, try and just get around the back, or, you know, little 1-2s and stuff. So it's going to be really good. But with Emery in charge, I'm always confident we can pick a win up.
Yeah, and thank you to AVFCSCOUT for letting us use his graphics. Wonderful work. I'll put his socials in the description to this video as well. But there's one sort of thing that I just want to touch on, that I had a vibe that came out of the game against West Ham. And it's that I think the squad is starting to have a real good harmony and a real good team spirit. And I think it's always been there. And we had that last season. But I sense that they're starting to understand the big objective this season. And it was just some of the things that came out against West Ham. And one of the things was the interview with Leon Bailey and how he was talking about Villa at the minute. And, you know, he came off the bench and he was just buzzing. He came off the bench and when he was just saying, like, he was interviewing him and he was just like, I'm a flair player and that's what I like to do. And I just get this understanding with Bailey now that he understands Emery and he understands the role. And another player that I think has understood the role the last couple of weeks is Tielemans. I think he's really starting to grasp what Emery's all about, because we had that furore of his international interview and, you know, you can't read into those. You know, I didn't read into it. I wasn't too bothered. And then he does an interview at the weekend talking about, you know, that it was mistranslated and that working with Emery and he's loving working with Emery, and he, you know, he's not being a player that's been on the bench, because when he was at Leicester he was playing, and now he's had to sort of understand that he's got to play his role and work into the team. And I just felt that he understood it as well. And I think the players are just really grasping how Unai works. And, you know, we know how meticulous he is, how hardworking he is, how driven he is. And to some players, that might be a bit of a culture change in itself to see how this guy works. And I just really got from that West Ham game that the players kind of understood how difficult that game was and that they executed the plan. It worked again. And again, they're smashing teams. Hearing Watkins talk to Dino, and, you know, I felt a different vibe from Watkins as well, because he was kind of asked this question. And he was asked this question. It was kind of like, so how has Unai improved your game? And kind of his old manager was sat there, and he could have been a bit more reserved, and he could have been a bit like, oh, you know, like, it's kind of just improved a bit. We've done this. But he really went into detail of how his game's improved. And I kind of read into that as well, that there's a confidence, that there's an air of like self-belief there now. And I just think all of that coming together is just putting us in a real good place. So yeah, those are some of the little things that I've took from the weekend that probably some people might not read into, but I do. But yeah, what are you saying, Justin? Are you the same or?
No, totally. Yeah, I think it's very interesting to see the evolution of the team, the style, the mentality. I thought it was really nice to see Tillemans come on, and he loved getting that assist, didn't he? You could see his face; he was absolutely buzzing. That'll do him the world of good. And we said it in the summer, didn't we? When we did the sort of preview of the season, and when we were doing all the transfer hubs, and all these players were linked with. Then Tillemans comes, then Torres comes in, and we saw a lot of the fan base saying, yeah, who's he replacing? Oh, is he better than So-and-so? I can't believe he's going to leave So-and-so. And we said it at the start. This is a squad now. Forget first 11s. They don't exist at Villa anymore. This is a squad-based game. And the players are gelling into it now. And the likes of Bailey, who is going to be coming in and out, and Tielemans in and out. There are certain players that will play every week because they're just irreplaceable. But a lot of the squad are very much in and out and in and out. And they have to understand that. And I think, like you said, they do. I think they knew that anyway. I think everybody that signs for Villa would have been told under the Emery regime anyway. The ones that were here before have had to learn it. But the ones that have come in and been signed by Unai Emery, they will be told exactly what their job is and their role is. And it's not to be, there's not a first 11. You're not guaranteed the 8 shirt, the 10 shirt. You are going to play a role in this team. And with all the games coming thick and fast, it's like 9 games in November, I think. There's huge amounts of games here, and the legs are going to be struggling. The squad's not the strongest depth-wise, especially because of injuries at the moment, with long-term injuries and these short-term injuries with Moreno and Ramsey. So they're all going to get a lot of minutes on the pitch, and if they can keep this togetherness and this unity, which is there for all to see, then it's just going to benefit everybody. It's going to benefit the team. We're going to get deep in competitions. We're going to do well in the league. The fans are going to be over the moon. The manager's going to be happy. You can't have anybody disrupting the boat. Now, I've no idea what happened with Duran. I've no idea why he was out the side on Sunday. But, if you're not on board, you don't get in this squad. So everybody has to be on board. Everybody has to be ready and willing to fight, whether you're playing the last 5 minutes or the first 85 minutes. Everybody has to be ready. And I think that's where we are seeing the team now get to. That's the point we are at now.
Yeah. Fantastic stuff. So we'll be back tomorrow with the predicted lineup for Alkmaar against Villa. We'll have tactically a look at their offensive and defensive styles, and then we'll pick the Aston Villa lineup together. Right, cool. I'm off then. Right, so early. Right, cool. Thanks everyone for watching, and up the Villa.
Up the Villa.